All right, welcome back to another episode of the Kitchen Table Podcast, where business gets done. I'm Ken Baden, and today we are here with Cory, all the way from northern Ohio, because I can't remember if it's northeast or northwest, but it's okay. He's going to tell us. Cory, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Kenny. How are you, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. And your last name, I always want to pronounce it Smeallie, but I know that's not what it is. So can you say it the right way?
It is Smeallie.
Smeallie, I was close.
It was close. It's better than Smelly. I'll take Smiley over Smelly.
I actually didn't see that and think Smelly. That's funny. Do you get that? You obviously get that a
One
lot.
up that would hit me with that, and I'd be like, "You're an English teacher. How do you mess that up?" But yeah, I've gotten both Smiley, Smelly. I definitely prefer Smiley, but it is Smeallie.
Smeallie. Cory Smeallie from Ohio. Is it northwest or northeast? I just got to know.
Northeast, so like the hailstorm and everything in Solon, Bedford area that we got at the last month is right next door to where I grew up in Twinsburg. So.
Well, that's awesome, man. That was like record-breaking hail. That's great for you guys, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
We've never seen anything like that in Maryland, so
we've never seen anything like that here. That storm ran out of gas on the way to Texas. That's what I've been telling everybody.
Do you guys ever get hail, or has it just been like?
So we do get hail. I would say as of late, like I've been doing this for about 10 years now, and I've seen what we would consider probably 2 to 3 major hailstorms in the 10 years that I've been doing that. But like major for here is like 1.5 inches and above.
Right, yeah.
A couple of years ago down south, there was a pretty big storm that I was actually with Josh Steinberger at the time. And we all saddled up and lived out of a garage for a year and sold $20 million down there. But like this year, it was like as widespread as it was and as big of a deal as it was. I mean, the hail was still melting on people's patios and decks like almost a week later. Wow. It wasn't super cold here. I mean, it wasn't super hot, but like just to give you an idea of how dense it actually was, that fell. Wow. Yeah, definitely unprecedented.
Yeah.
As crappy as it is, it's pretty cool to see this stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, there's the good and the bad in that situation, which is good for folks like yourself, but you're also, obviously, we don't want people to get hurt, but.
Right, that's what, I mean, as bad as it is that people's belongings and things like that got damaged, as a, storm damage nerd, it was really cool to see, other than just within a photo.
Right, and we wouldn't want anyone to get hurt here, but it would be like wild to see something like that here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like maybe one day, but you know what? We don't count on it, so that's okay. So
they're seeding clouds nowadays. So
what's that?
They're seeding clouds nowadays, so there's always a chance.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, shit, the weather will do whatever it's going to do, whatever they tell them to do, anyhow. So. So how would you get into this, man? You said you were in the industry for about 10 years. Tell us how that happened.
Wow. So I have a little bit of a rocky past, as a lot of us in the roofing industry do. I was not somebody that I thought would ever have a career path. And there was legitimately a time in my life where I, out loud said to myself, bro, you've messed up. You're going to work at Burger King for the rest of your life. And I owned it. And then I kind of stumbled on a canvassing job that was for a waterproofing company that's local to here. And I was making such little money doing what I was already doing. And I was, at a decent enough age that I was willing to try anything. And I was really successful at it. And I worked all the way up the ladder for this corporate company, essentially to where I was like taking in all the sales numbers, counting leads, where they came from, all those things, the heart and lungs of the company. And I wanted to sell. I saw what these guys were making and what they were doing and everything. And I knew that I had that in me and I wanted to sell, and they wouldn't let me. So I actually I was scrolling Facebook one day about 10 years ago, and I saw a video that Josh Steinberger posted. He was on his way home about 7:00 at night and, a loving life, fist bumping, how Josh's energy is. And, if you're underpaid and overworked and you hate your boss and you want to make more money than you ever did in your life, come to Next Gen and we'll give you a shot. And I was like so sold on that was the path that I wanted, home improvement sales, that, I went and me and Josh talked, and I thought it was a good fit. It was basically what I was doing at an hourly rate for the other company, but now for a commission. So I was like, cool, what do we have to lose? And I found out I was really good at it. Fast forward a couple of years into it, you know what I mean? Like it's becomes less about like what you do, more so of who you are. And that kind of just really embodied me. And I kind of just found a lane that fit for me as a sales guy, and how I was going to service and present myself to homeowners and customers. And that brought me to where I am today as a business owner. So roofing definitely gave me the career that I never would have had anywhere else. But I was fortunate enough to have leaders that focused more on self-development than they did on earning a paycheck. So I was lucky enough to learn that if I didn't make myself better and become better and learn new things and remain teachable, that I was going to depreciate and not grow. So that's pretty much my 10,000 foot view.
Okay, right on, man. You said you had a bit of a rocky past. Can you elaborate, or?
Yeah, so in 2010, I cut off my right thumb. I was working at a metal stamping plant. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of painkillers that go along with that. And then they passed a law that they weren't giving painkillers to pain management patients anymore unless they dealt with severe pain. So without any education or anything like that, I was like pushed onto the street, like, sorry, we can't fill your prescription anymore. So obviously I was sick, and then went down that whole path. Went through treatment a couple times, was homeless. Um, just the whole gambit. And luckily enough, the third time stuck. I went my last time using was April 10th, 2014. I went through treatment, put myself in sober living. Did work for the guy that ran the sober living house. He's the one that got me the job at the factory that I was working at prior to going into the sales industry. So it's kind of just one of those things where I started to get opportunities again, and instead of being the person that destroyed those opportunities and took them for granted, I flipped a coin and started to appreciate them and to nurture them. And it took me a really long way in life, and realistically a short amount of time.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. So, I mean, unfortunately, man, anybody that's gotten hurt, as soon as you said you cut your thumb off, I pretty much knew the rest of the story.
That was it. You know what I mean? Like there's only a couple other places you go from there.
Yeah. And so, I wonder what it is about, what do you think it is about roofing, and specifically insurance restoration roofing, that like so many of us just have
Instant gratification. That's what it used to be, at least when it was easier. You know what I mean? Very little legwork for high reward. And then there's those of us that genuinely, are good people, right? We're empaths, and we get that dopamine hit from like solving a problem quickly for somebody and seeing that reaction. And I think that right there is the majority of what it is that we find ways, especially guys that, generate their own business and everything like that, to alleviate pain and solve problems. And that gives us that dopamine hit. And whether we realize it or not, I mean, I think that's what keeps a lot of us here.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so crazy how, like, there's memes about it and stuff, like, your roofer starter pack, and it's like the guy with like Monster Energies and like, Perk 30s.
Yeah, and a ankle bracelet and
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, whatever, man. It's true. But,
Yeah, I'm not what happened to me. You know what I
right,
mean? Like
exactly.
I'm not. But there's the thing, is that the world wants people to think that, just like they want people to work 9 to 5s and live paycheck to paycheck and everything like that. Like they want people to think that when they get into a position like that, it's death in institutions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then there's guys like me and you that say, screw that. I'm going to create my own statistic, and you're not going to tell me.
Yeah.
And it's just, everybody's got that potential, but some people just fail to realize it too. They realize it too late.
I agree with the instant gratification part. Unfortunately, too, I feel like in certain areas, the high propensity for possible fraud tends to, not guys like myself or yourself that are looking to get better, but the guys that aren't looking to get better. You know what I mean? Yeah. Those guys, there's an avenue for guys like you and I that are looking to get better and do the right thing. And then there's an avenue for guys that are still doing the wrong thing and want to do it, and they can do that. And it used to be a lot more prevalent, but to your point, things have changed so much. And in some ways, man, in a lot of ways, it's like, you know what, it's for the better. Like, I hate that the insurance carriers, have any, because they just do whatever they want. Like, they don't deserve any quarter. They don't deserve any, laying off. Like those guys deserve every bit. Like they should pay for every single thing that they ever see, and they. Some of the industry is definitely, it could have used some cleaning up, is what I'm getting at. I'm not favoring by any means the insurance carriers. I'm simply saying it needed some cleaning up. It still needs some cleaning up.
It did, and this is where I agree with you 100%. When I started in this industry, it was either chuck in a truck, you do whatever gives you a couple bucks in your pocket, or you were just insurance and it was going to be insurance, or we're going to find a way to make it insurance, or you're charging $1,000 a square high retail with a 2-hour pitch and everything like that. And that neither one of those things to me seemed like an actual professional in the space. And tightening things up like guys that do it the right way and are looking to adapt and to learn, to not so much go and put a one size fits all solution on every problem, but to be more of a professional and say, what is the issue that's going on and how can I help this person, whether it be repairs, replacements, or insurance. And I think the guys, like I said before, with the documentation, the guys that are still willing to go out and do that little bit of legwork and build the reports and sustain their sandbox are still having as much success as ever has been.
Yeah, it may take it's this. I don't disagree. I mean, like our numbers haven't and they were never going to be like what an office would be where there's like some massive storm, but they're consistent, and they're consistent because we continue just to we navigate what is in front of us. And so like the game is the same in many respects, but of course it changes it a lot. But like you and I were just talking about this, and you said something interesting, which was like, look, these guys go to these seminars and they're looking for this, like, give me the thing that I write in my notebook and gets everything bought. And it's like, dude, that doesn't exist.
Like, doesn't exist. No, it's in the staying organized and doing the documentation and learning, you know what I mean? Like understanding what pre-loss condition is. How is the system, whether it be siding or roofing, functioning before the loss occurred? Not just that it's damaged. Like a monkey can tell you that something's damaged if you train it long enough. You know what I mean?
Sure. And how we approach these things and how we document and with whom, we work through, because it's like, they really, the homeowner has the voice. And so like the more people understand, like, look, it's the same game, but the playbooks change, the game evolves. And if you don't stay on top of how the game evolves, then, if you're playing football the way football was played in 1985, you're going to have a hard time keeping up. The rules have changed. There's different flags, different fouls, and it's a lot faster. And in many ways, it's a lot softer too, but like, you just can't do what you used to do then, right? So that's actually a pretty good analogy, really, when you think about it. So you did 10 years in the industry. You're at year 10. You started with Josh. Before that, waterproofing. Got out on your own. How long have you been on your own now?
Just over a year.
Okay. How's that been going for you?
It's been going fantastic. I'm a slow but strong type of person. I'm in no hurry to get to the top of the mountain. Last year, I brought my dad up from South Carolina. He was driving a dump truck, but has always been like a super handy, detail-oriented person. So I was like, hey man, like you hate doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? If you're not living the life that you should be living at your age, like come back to Ohio. You live with me and my wife and kids for a little bit. You'll be the production manager. We'll teach you how to run the systems, how to run the crews, how to order the materials. So we went real slow last year. We did mostly retail. There really wasn't any storms anyways, but we did about $300,000 last year. You know what I mean? So after everything was said and done, I think the company made like 80 grand. And then like right now this year, because all the storms and everything and just growing, continuously adapting systems, growing, trying to put good people in place, we're on pace to do 3 to 5 million.
Oh yeah, man.
So, just trying to focus on keep the main thing, and it's just the value that needs to be brought to the homeowner. The dollars will come. I tell people all the time, like, you see so many people nowadays and so many people comment on all these AI banners and posts and ads that people make, and they all look the same. The only difference is it's a different husband and wife in the photo and a different company name. And I see so many people, they do have success spending the money that they spend on marketing, but I would rather spend that time and money if someone calls me and says, hey, my shutter blew off, or I had a couple pieces of siding blow off or something like that. If I can go and fix it and it's going to take me 20 minutes and very little resources, I charge $0 because I can create an experience, show someone that I'm human and that I do care about their situation. And that alone has gotten me to where I was last year to where I am this year. Word of mouth is the cheapest form of advertising with the highest return. And if you take care of people, they will take care of you. But somewhere along the line, a lot of us tend to lose sight of the importance of what we're doing to the customer, and we get caught up in the shiny object, which is the dollar, which is understandable. We make really good money, but keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, that's great advice, man. I was actually just, have you ever heard of the 6 Sigma principle?
I think so, yeah.
And the first one is just focusing on the customer experience. I was like revisiting all of that because I was talking about that with my field marketing manager, and it's just like how that's just so important, man. You can't, like, if that should be your first focus.
100%. One of the first books I've ever,
Customer
I tell people to read or listen to on audiobook is Beyond the Hammer. If you haven't listened to it or read it, it's fantastic. But it's really just goes about, it's this guy who inherits a company from his dad. They do a job at a high-end customer's house, and 2 different guys are working on this nice high-end island, and both sides of the island look completely different, and there's no accountability taken. And the book goes on to just kind of outline the importance of a mission statement and core values and things like that within the organization. And it's a fantastic book. I highly recommend it.
Beyond the Hammer?
Beyond the Hammer.
Not read that, man. That's good. All right. Well, we got something out of that one. Beyond the Hammer. I love that. So, what's next for you? So 3 to 5 this year. How many you got? Are you looking to bring reps on? You looking to grow? Like what?
Yeah, I am looking to grow. I am definitely looking to grow. I'm not looking to get to the top of the mountain tomorrow, but I do want something with longevity. It's just something when my son's 11, he'll be 12 next month. I want him to be able to, if he wants to have something to inherit and come and work and continue to build on and stuff like that. Like, that's the type of stuff that's important to me. I started my own business because I realized as a sales rep that I could only control so much of the process. I couldn't control what happened once the crew came to the house and everything like that. Like, I could try to, get the fire extinguisher out and be ready. But like, I truly couldn't control the experience that I wanted to deliver no matter who I worked for. And I wasn't about to be the guy that was a company jumper and was going from company to company. So it was just like, I finally just decided to bet on myself and do what I love on my terms, because as we said before, like I can't go be a lawyer. I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm not going to go be a heart surgeon or anything like that. And I already have a lifestyle that I've built for my family and everything. And I just have an idea and a feeling of how things need to be done. And I didn't want it to conflict with anybody else's agenda or whatever they had anymore. And here I am. That's it. I definitely don't want to get smaller, but I always want to stay focused on doing good work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, that's interesting. That's the way to do it, though, in my opinion, is if you're going to do it that way, at the very least, you have the idea of like, well, if I was to ask you, what's your plan? You're like, well, I'd like to leave something for my son. That's at least a plan, right? Like, what I can't stand are these focus of businesses where it's like, what's your 5-year plan? Like, well, I want to get bigger. Like, for what? What's your goal? What's your revenue agenda? Like, for what purpose? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to achieve a liquidity event, and in doing so, we're not just looking to achieve that just to say we did it. Like, we want to be a top 5 remodeling company in the United States, period. I was part of Power when there were 2 offices. I've watched them do it, and I know we can do it, I know we can do it we could do it regardless. We couldn't, I'm not going to say we couldn't, because I hate saying that.
Yeah.
It would be a lot harder to do without the help. It'd be a lot harder to do it without some help and some investment in 5 years, right? Like, so to do it in 5 years, having the right investing partner is going to be important. So like, that would be why we would do that. Like, well, not aside from the money, of course, that's great, but like, that money is an investment into the business and ultimately into us, which is what we want, because we're not looking to sell and leave. We're looking to be invested in and to build this thing into a top 5 remodeling firm in the United States, period. And we believe with the right investing partner, we can do that, right? With the right capital, with the right investing partner, with the right resources, we can do that. And
Yeah, you
especially
guys got the map. You hold the
so
map.
like we're and we'll get there, man. I'm getting texts and calls from my freaking sales reps. I'm playing sales manager right now because while we're doing retail and insurance and I'm building, we're growing, brother. You know what I mean? As you grow, as you continue to grow and grow and grow and grow.
My guys today, and it's just like constantly, one thing after another, bombardment after bombardment. But it's like when the dust settles and I go home tonight, like I don't regret a single bit of it. I would rather be busy, solving other people's problems and trying to help people and make other people's lives easier than have, you know, be fighting for Friday on a 9 to 5. I'll take this any day of the week.
Yeah, how do I want to say this? Because actually Ryan's texted me, my sales rep, and he's my top rep for retail. He was an X Games racer, never had a job, ever. Just literally just an X Games racer. That's it. And that's cool. That's awesome. I mean, that's what he did for like a living until he was like, this isn't going to make me enough to where like I'm going to have the lifestyle I really want. Like I'm working too hard. This is just, it's X Games. Like it's cool, but like it's not like you're in NFL, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a career. You've only got so many years doing that.
Right. And so, but a guy like that, and a guy like me, and a guy like you, and then we have like, Andy, who's one of my top reps in insurance restoration. Like he was running different businesses, restaurants, mission escape rooms. We have former entrepreneurs here. We have guys that were just laying floor. We have so many walks of life. I have a young man that listens to this podcast, that follows the podcast, he just come up to me right in the gym and prompted me to take my headphones off. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's up, dude? And he's just like, hey, look, I'm a big fan of the podcast, which was cool. I interviewed him last night, man, and he may come on.
He's a high school kid, right?
No, that's another kid that I met at a fucking gas station, dude. That kid came in today. So like that kid's starting next week. The other kid's a college graduate. He's about 24, and he because he's not, I'm not going to say his name, but he works for like a property management company and he makes good money, and he wants to get into home improvement. And he was very candid. He's like, look, I want to learn, and I think I want to own my own business one day. And honestly, dude, I'm okay with that. Like,
me too.
I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, hey, be candid with me and be transparent. I appreciate and respect that. Who knows? Like I said, there's plenty of career paths here. You never know, right? Like that may be something that you change your mind. I don't think he'll ever change his mind entirely, but there's plenty of career paths here because you're young enough to where like if you come in and you help us achieve the thing that we need to achieve, that's seed money anyhow, brother. You know what I mean? So like, and honestly, if you're here for that and you're here for a couple years and you make that happen or help us make that happen, dude, you have a place here forever. No one's going to be mad if you deliver on what you said you were going to do. It's the guys that don't tell you that, come in, learn everything, and just try to backdoor you. And it's like, dude.
That's so funny that you said that. I have a kid that's starting Monday. He's currently an EMT. Great wherewithal about him. Super, super likable kid. Had to make a tough call to me one day. He was going to ride with me, and like a normal kid his age would have texted it or maybe blew it off or something like that. He picked up the phone, talked to me like a man, like super impressed with this kid, but like he's still interested in being an EMT. Like he wants to go back to EMT school. He still wants to work his part-time volunteer firefighter shift. How can I sit there and tell, oh, that's lame and blah, 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 and you work here, you'll make all this money. How can I expect him to care about what I have going on if I don't care about what he has going on? So as long as we come to an understanding and say, these are the commitments that I'm going to expect from you while you're here, and he follows through on those, I told him, I said, dude, if you want to go to EMT school next year in the spring, I'll pay for half of it. If you stick it out here and do a good job or whatever it is, I'll pay for half your EMT school. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like, why would you want people that don't feel fulfilled around you, and at the very least make their own decision on what's right for their career path without you, you're lame, make all this money. Like, cool, yeah, but let them make that decision.
100%. 100%, man. Couldn't agree more. And that's what I told the kid. I said, you know what, man? And after even just talking with them, I'm like, I just don't see you probably anywhere. Like if you got that in your head, that's what it is. Like I had that, and I was like, so that's probably just your path, man. That's cool. That's cool. I said, honestly, this might be a good fit in that, like where we're at and what you could help us achieve, and if you're the right fit, I don't know, right? Like, but if you come in and you're worth a darn, and you help us grow, and you're a part of that, you know, who cares? We're not going to be. Nobody owns anybody, right? All I can do is create enough opportunity and show the career path, show the possibilities, and make this a great place to work with great benefits and a great career path. And make people want to be here just naturally by the environment and the opportunity, right? Make sure that they see it, make sure that they're aware of it, and build that. And that's your duty as a business owner, I believe.
100%.
Other than that, man, like, what can you do? You can't force people to do anything. You know what I mean? So, well, brother, how can our listeners who want to find out more about Jason Smeallie, how can they find you? Where can they find you at?
Cory Smeallie.
Jason Smeallie. Jason Nimitz. Jason Nimitz just texted me. Cory Smeallie.
Jason, you're screwing up our podcast.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Jason, you already had your podcast, bro. If you're listening to this, you literally just texted me and screwed me up.
Like, do your own thing. You guys can find me Facebook, Instagram, Google, pretty much anywhere that you would expect to find a reputable contractor is where I can be found. I'm a collaborative type, so like I'm always looking to help and be of some sort of help to somebody, especially if it's newer guys in the industry that are genuinely looking to learn and to learn a way that's going to carry them through many seasons and not just one or two. And I think that's another reason why I like Chris and them so much, with the whole set the standard and everything. But TrueShield Exteriors can be found anywhere that you would expect to find a reputable contractor, and we're always available.
Awesome, man. Well, guys, check them out. Check Cory out, not Jason, Cory. Check Cory out. And if you're in the Ohio area and looking for a good place to be, give him a shout.
Looking for good people.
Sounds like he's always looking for good people. Guys, thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next one.